Good job, sir.
We're now getting to the main event. I'd just like to briefly speak about my experience with Ken. Ken, before I get into that though, I have up here, on behalf of everyone that's here, we have a gift certificate. On behalf of all of us, for you and the family. We also have made a photograph of the Nassau County Courthouse. You can hang on your wall. It actually includes a picture of where your office is. So when you get homesick for us, you want to peek in, we're right here. But I started my legal career in the office of Mara Marola. And I decided, I grew up in Nassau County, I wanted to come back to where I grew up. So in 1987, I decided to come out here and apply to the office of Dennis Dillon. And I think all of us who worked for Dennis Dillon, truly a phenomenal person. And there's one person I'd like to recognize in particular, is we're very honored to have Barbara Dillon, Mr. Dillon's daughter, with us this afternoon. Barbara, would you stand up? What a role model, what a phenomenal individual, DA, and just a great person to work for. I couldn't say I'm more honored than to say I was a member of Dennis Dillon's office. I came out to Nassau in 1987. I know a lot of former ADAs here, and many people I've spoken to have left the DA's office, said it's the best job they ever had. And Ken often said he thought it was the best job he could have because the only thing, Ken said, you have to do as part of our job is to make sure you do the right thing. Sure, it's hard work, but it's teamwork, and most importantly, it's a life of public service. It's also great as a 25-year-old coming out of law school, like this year's class, I think is about 30 ADAs. You're with people who are brand new, you've learned all the theory of law. Now it's boots to the ground. You're really gonna learn the day in, day out what it takes to be an assistant district attorney. And I will say, I have had the greatest mentors throughout my career at the Nassau DA's office, whether it's in county court, major offense bureau, supervisors, they're just phenomenal, as well as the support staff, absolutely amazing. It's a great job, but it's not an easy job. It requires working in a chaotic situation with heavy caseloads, timelines. You're dealing with reasonable and unreasonable people. And you're witness to the best and worst of mankind. When I came out to Nassau County in 1987, I hit the employment lottery, however. When I came here, you know, your life is determined about, number one, whose caseload you're inheriting, as many of you know. But I ran the whole table, Ken. I hit the employment lottery because when I came out here, number one, my direct supervisors were Toby Kurtz and Pat McCormick, who to me it was always like going to Solomon. Phenomenal, intelligent, great legal knowledge, great common sense. My partner was Barbara Kornblau, who was smart, hardworking, and classy ADA. And my roommate was Rick Collins. As we know, Rick Collins is a great trial attorney. He was then. He's smart. But the best thing about him, when you come into a new environment, you need someone with a great sense of humor, and no one's better than Rick Collins. So I appreciate that. And to top it off, we had the sage of the Nassau County DA's office and our office, Marty Walsh, who was Mike Walsh's father. Phenomenal. Marty could go into a courtroom off the top of his head, do a direct, try the whole case, and he was just amazing. So I was really lucky in terms of my experience. But the most important thing coming to the Nassau DA is whose caseload I inherited. My caseload is the caseload of Ken Kunken. I have never in all my years as an ADA seen a caseload like that. Every caseload was in a binder. It was organized by witness, accusatory instruments, minutes. It had caseload. It had actual notes of conferences that were held. It was the most complete thing that you could ask for. But I got a bonus. Because unlike the situation where many people in the DA's office, their prior person in their position is gone. And along with the knowledge they may have had about the case, I just had to walk down the hall to Ken Kunken. and I had an ADA who had a photographic memory and an encyclopedic knowledge of case law and the cases that he had. So it was a wonderful experience for me. When I was first introduced to Ken, the first thing I noticed, I said, oh, this ADA is in a wheelchair. He has some form of disability. That lasted about 10 seconds. And I've spoken to a number of other people. The amazing thing with Ken Kunken is you spend 10 seconds with him, and you don't ever think about a person with a disability. You think about a person, and you just get like Toby Kurtz was the supervisor that was mesmerized by your summation. You're just taken in by his breadth of his knowledge, his commitment, and his compassion. Ken and I worked for many years in county court. Our boss was Mitch Benson. Mitch Benson is known probably best for trying the murder of Artie Lopez. Officer Lopez was our last Nassau County police officer that was murdered. And Mitch tried that case and got a conviction. But I think what most of the people, where the number of people have worked with Mitch, is Mitchisms. Words of wisdom that Mitch would impart upon us. And the one I always remember the best is when ADAs would come into Mitch and complain of how tough their life was, Mitch would just look at them and say, you know what, being an ADA is hard. And being an ADA is hard. It's hard because of the number of cases, you have time limits, you have an unlimited universe of defense attorneys, judges, a multiplicity of panels of court parts you could be in. And as you heard, Ken was handling 75 cases. Now to me, even if you're a 25-year-old gung-ho out of law school, I look at Ken Kunken and say, they're complaining, and here's a person, for a person who's paraplegic, this job should be impossible. And again, he saw time and time again throughout the course of Ken's career, Ken, I have been absolutely amazed at what you've done. I was with you as a trial attorney. I picked up your caseload. We sat together in I conference case with you. And remember, we're supervising 28 ADAs in an unlimited universe of problems. Witnesses that don't want to come in. Witnesses that come in and they're not in a condition to testify. Witnesses that may be threatened. Unlimited number of challenges, legal challenges, factual challenges. And Ken, I'm so grateful that you are with me in that hallway for all these years for your wise counsel. If I was hiring a DA, the person and that's why DA Donnelly created the Ken Kunken Award, because you are the standard by which any one of us else is measured. You are ethical, you are hardworking, you are collegial, smart, compassionate, a tough advocate, as your brother said, but you're a team player, and most important, you're kind. But the one thing I think is your superpower, and I'm constantly amazed by this, is the Ken Kunken equanimity. And he knows, I've had many conversations. Ken is a 10th degree black belt in equanimity. And he knows a number of times, he said, Ken, today I'm finally going to be like you. I'm not going to let anything bother me in the days of office. Nothing can ever upset me again. I go out 10 minutes later, I say, do you believe what this guy's just doing? And I catch her and say, oh, Ken, I'm sorry. I'm going to try again today. It's 37 years and I still haven't reached your level of equanimity. And I don't know if I ever will. It's you are truly singular among the people in the DA's office. When I was preparing for my remarks for this event, I went to Human Resources and I said, you know what? I have to know, since 1982, how many people have actually worked with Ken Kunken? Can you give me a list of interns, lawyers, support staff? And they said, that could be thousands. I said, it's impossible, we can't. And I said, you know what? Stop in any event. I said, that's a very unfair question. Because the possibilities are limitless, because the influence of Ken Kunken is like that pebble in a pond. It hits the water and it ripples out. Ken's influenced everyone, not just people in our office. He's influenced victims, court personnel, community members, school children that visit the office. The people that you've affected, Ken, is unlimited. And I often think about that quote, that remark of Senator Kennedy, and he got it mostly right. That note where he said, one man can make a difference. And one man can make a difference, but he was wrong. One man like Ken Kunken can make a tremendous difference. You confronted every challenge, Ken, you ever confronted. as like a mythical knight. You slayed every dragon that came in your way. And at the end of all this, in spite of that tragic accident, Ken, you find yourself with the person you call, rightfully, your angel from heaven. 3 wonderful young men, your sons, a wonderful family, and an incredible life. I am so thankful, Ken, that in your life you've given me a front row seat. And I had a front row seat since 1997 to be inspired by everyone else in this room to the good work that you've done. There's a quote that I heard attributed to a number of people. And it says, be kind to people because everybody's fighting a tough battle. And you did that every single day of your life, Ken. You were tough, but you were compassionate, and you were kind to people. Because nobody knows better than Ken Kunken what it's like to fight a tough battle. I thank you, Ken, for bringing justice to the people of Nassau County for 42 years. I thank you for adding to the proud history of the Nassau County DA's office. We celebrate 125 years this year. And Ken, I hate to say it, you comprise 1/3. But of that very proud history, I thank you for all you've taught me. I thank you for being a great team player, co-worker. I thank you for leadership. And I thank you above all for being a great friend. And thanks on behalf of all of us for making us proud to have you as a Nassau County Assistant District Attorney. Ken, if you please come up, we'd like to present you with a picture, or if you want, Ken, I can come to you.
No, I'll come.
Okay.